Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm C. I'm a self-taught jewelry maker. Here I share my process and my creative adventure. Today we are going to be remaking the rings that I made out of silver cutouts. This is the ring. So the story about that is that I was so sick of a lot of silver cutouts. I did not want to remelt them, so I was making circles after circles. The next thing I know, the circles become a line, and this ring was born. It's so airy, so beautiful, minimalist, and also still quite structured. I love it so much that I make into a ring and matching earrings. So today we are going to be remaking that without using the sulfur scrapes because I'm running out of the sulfur cutouts. Well, I'm going to tell you what happened. Last week I was making two videos and one of them is including this silver scrapes project. It's an experiment, but I have not finished making those and I'm still in the process of editing the video. So hopefully, crossing fingers, it's going to be released next week. All right, let's just stop talking and enough of the blah blah. Let's get to work. Let's go.
The ring that was sold is in size 5. To start, using a marker, I drew a line that represents size 5, which is 5.2 centimeter. Hey, do you know that hydroalcoholic can erase the permanent marker? I just thought that I share this. Isn't this magic? Okay, back to work. This line is going to be used as a guide to position the circles. And next, I am making small circles one by one using pliers and cutters. Like I mentioned at the beginning in the video, the wire thickness is about 18 gauge. Right now, I just want to make sure that I have enough circles to attain the correct length. I will rearrange the circle later, so I don't want to waste too much time here yet. Once the circles had attained the 5.2 centimeter length, I open the circles one by one and we want to shape the edges and solder these close one by one. For you who have watched my tutorial videos, maybe you know that I love using this disc cutter to file off almost anything, especially for prepping the soldering edge. It is so fast this way, but to tell you the truth, I am scared every time I did this. If you are scared of using the power tool, you're welcome to use abrasive paper or a file for this work. Oops. Speaking of the devil, I just want to say that you need to be careful when you are using the power tool. What happened with me earlier, the rotary disc have been accidentally hit my anvil. It hits right here just now. I need to be careful. I want to show you something. I'm just gonna take it off. Here on my power tool, I always set up on the lowest power just in case something happen, at least it will not grind anybody or anything. Voila, that is the safest for me. I put it back here, and also down I have a foot pedal that is quite safe. I feel like I bought it for them so it can be operated with the foot without having to turn it back on and off with my other hand. So I can use my hand to do the jewelry work while the foot is doing the here.
So that is convenient, right? Okay, back to the bench.
The circle edges had been filed off, and now I close the circles one by one while making sure that both of the ends meet on all surface. Next, grab your marker and put a dot on the gap so it's easier for soldering. Why do I do this? Because when we lay the circles on the soldering block with the flux that's taken when heated, it will be so hard to identify as to where we should solder the gap. So this bright pink marker will definitely save us a lot of time. Next step is applying the flux very generously. Since these are small pieces, very easy to melt, the flux paste will give a barrier and definitely help to protect the area that you don't want to solder. After this, we are putting the solder chip above the gap one by one. Just a quick note, I'm using hard solder for this. Rings tend to break more easily than other jewelry, probably because they're worn on the hands, which do the most work. This is why it's especially important to use hard solder when making rings. It helps make them stronger and long lasting. For soldering the silver, you want to hit the metal, not the solder directly. The solder will flow toward the hottest part, so control your flame and positioning. I know this sounds contradicting, but too much heat can burn off your flux and therefore it will melt your piece. What I would suggest is to fire the piece for 3 seconds and put it away. It will help to not overheat. Once the solder melts, we need to back off after. And using a pick or a pair of tweezers will help just in case the solder chips move around. And trust me, they do move around. Once the soldering work is done, I would just wait until it's cooled off. I stand up, walk around, look at my phone, and once they are detachable from the soldering block, that's when they are ready to be pickled. And it's soldering time again. This time I'm going to align the circles and solder them side by side. You can go with random diameters and line them up. That works just fine. But from my experience making this ring, the sweet spot is usually between 5 and 8 millimeters. I love placing a large circle between two smaller ones. It creates a nice balance. The opposite is just as lovely, tiny circles nestled between the two larger ones. Somehow, that layout feels more spontaneous and gives the design a freer, more organic look. Once I'm aligning the circles, I would put the solder chip in between those and fire. Be careful to fire slowly, and like I said, I love to use just the hard solder. A tip for not melting the whole thing, just focus on the two circles at a time. Work from left to right or from right to left. And once the solder melts, don't wait longer, just retire the fire right away and move to the next in between circles. I want to make it quick, so I quench these with a spray of water. And I also noticed that one of the solder did not melt through, so I'm going to flip the plate and redo it from this side. Done? I do not pickle this time. I'll just wait until the plate gets cool, because we have another solder work to be done, which is to shape this plate into a circle and solder them close. I'm grabbing my ring plier and shape them into a circle, marking the gap with Sharpie. Here, I'm going to let the ring held by the third hand while positioning the point that needed to be soldered just right above. This way, I can make sure that the fire only touches the two circles that needed to be joined. After applying the flux and getting the solder chip ready, I'm ready to fire. Diary keepers, this time I'm going to melt the solder beforehand. So I'm firing the solder, and once it started to change shape into a ball, I pick it up using the titanium pick and apply it on the mark point. And since it's mounted on the third hand, the fire doesn't touch any part of the ring, just the two bubbles. Once it's done, straight to the pickle. And after a couple of minutes, or maybe you can leave it for an hour, I think. And now it's the shaping time. I have this mandrel mounted on the bench. This is super convenient. You can buy this tool everywhere online, I think. The client order is in size 5 USA. This means on my mandrel it's J and a half. Don't worry about remembering the sizing. You can always find the chart everywhere online. Since I've lived in Europe and I bought this mandrel from the UK online store, it gave me this different sizing. So instead of a number, it came out with alphabet sizing. Almost finished. I'm going to smoothen out some of the solder leftovers amongst other uneven edges. I'm using this power tool to make it faster and easier. You can always use the abrasive papers or file, of course. Then I sand off the whole surface using 600 grit sandpaper, and then moving up to 800, and then 1000, and the smoothest is 1500. And lastly, since the listing is listed in hammered finish, I'm going to apply a little bit of a hammer texture to the surface of the ring. The last step is to polish them. Here I'm using the polishing compound called ZAM. It's basically an aluminum oxide. Its color is green. I also heard from other people that they are using the red Dialux, especially for polishing soft metals like silver and gold. I bought them, but I've never really used them. I don't know why. I kind of hooked with this green Zam thing. So you can go ahead and look on the market which one of the polishing compound that you like the most. It is not always the same. Diary keepers, this is the very ring that we made. Even though this version is made from fresh 18 gauge silver wire instead of recycled, it still carries that upcycle spirit. The uniform wire thickness gives it a cleaner look, but the vibe stays the same, airy, playful. I love that the design keeps a bit of a spontaneous mismatch feel. It's never exactly the same twice, and that's kind of the point. By the time I recorded this, the piece have already flown off to its new owner. I haven't heard back yet though, but I've got my fingers crossed that she will love it.
Hey everybody, this is it. The new version of the bubble ring is done. Still airy, still playful. And speaking of play, please tune in to my video next week where I will be sharing my playing experiment. It's about recycling silver. It's going to be fun. Hopefully, I have not finished editing the video and I still have to fine-tune some of the stuff, and hopefully next week it should be ready. Diary Keepers, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you have not done so. If you find this video useful or if you are inspired by this video, please click like. And maybe you have guessed that this video is being recorded in a different time. You are right. If you have guessed that, you are right. The intro and outro is being recorded at the same time. The video might be 12 to 15 minutes, but from the recording, editing, doing the introduction and outroduction, it takes more than a day. I hope it's okay with you. I feel like recording the beginning and the end together gives a video a more coherent look. Unless you have another idea, let me know. Well, I'm signing out. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell for you to not miss any video. Stay creative, be kind to yourself and others, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.